again, and welcome back to the additional tips for DuctQuote training videos. In this session, we're going to be talking about drawing transitions and hoods. Now that you've been drawing systems for a little while and learning to create proposals, we're going to continue with some tips to get more done faster in your design and takeoff work. So it's important to note that when we're talking about drawing transitions and hoods here in DuctQuote, this will only work for smaller transitions and hoods. If the size of the rectangular portion gets above, say, 4 square feet, this is going to get unwieldy. So we're going to open a new layout, and 30 by 30 feet will be fine. We're just going to call this transitions. And we'll go ahead and open that up. We'll draw with US Duct product, and I'm going to draw with 6-inch at this point. And I'm going to go into point mode, as you all know how to do. I'm going to put this about 10 feet off the floor. And we'll draw out to about the center of the layout. Then I'm going to turn this down, and I'm going to travel 24 inches. Now, as you can see, we do need to make sure that our flows are correct. So I'm going to simply have this flowing from the vertical to the left at the end there. So all I have to do is switch that first section. All right. Now, as we look at square round transitions, they're needed primarily to connect round duct to a rectangular opening on a piece of equipment. Now, this could be a fan, it could be a cyclone, etc. And so we're going to put in a piece of equipment, a generic, and we'll select the model, click OK. And I'm going to drop this pretty close to underneath of there. And I'll scoot this into position here in just a minute. Okay. And now what we need to do with that piece of equipment selected is we're going to need to add a connection. Okay. Now, it is very important, since we are doing a squared around transition here, we need to set this connection to rectangular in shape. Now, there are 3 pieces that we must fill in: volume, velocity, and dimensions. We can fill in 2 and let the system calculate the other, but we must have all 3 filled in. And by the way, we can also set the flange type, whether it's nothing open. I'm going to go with a flange with holes here. And we're going to make this a 12 by 14 inch transition. And we're going to use an exit velocity of, say, 4,000 feet per minute, which means when I have DuctQuote calculate the volume, it'll be based on the dimension and the velocity. And this should come up to somewhere just below 4,700, which it does. So we now click New Connection. Okay. And now, as you can see, my insertion tool, the green box with the crosshairs, I'm going to place this on the center of the top of this piece of equipment. And you can see I now have a rectangular connection. All right. So now I'm simply going to use my axes. I'm going to lift this up to where I get the yellow connection indicator at the end, and I'm going to let go and allow this to connect. And bang, you see the squared around transition pops in. Now, the other thing that you notice here is, in edit mode, we also get that warning system to work here. Now, we had drawn that as a 24-inch drop, but you can see that we actually need it to be a little bit longer. So I'm going to let DuctQuote fix that, and I'll shift it upstream. Now, if all we want is a hood and not a transition off of a piece of equipment, now that I've created that transition, I can actually eliminate the piece of equipment, and I will still have my transition. There is one caveat to this. You must always remember that these transitions are built to accept air. air coming in them, not putting air out. So if we had to do this with a piece of equipment like a fan, where it is taking air in, we would have to be careful and select flows such that they would be going in the correct direction, even though we know that in real life they would be going in the opposite direction. All right. Now, the one other thing to let you know here is that DuctQuote cannot actually calculate face velocity for this kind of hood. So if you're looking for that, that's something that may be coming down the line, but right now that is not possible. So again, have fun with your squared around transitions and small hoods. Hope to see you next time.